The big story this week is we're waiting for the verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Yesterday, the judge chewed out the media over what he said was bad coverage. Watch. Here's Judge Schroeder.
When I talked about problems with the media when this trial started, we were there in part, not fully, but in part, because of grossly irresponsible handling of what comes out of this trial.
Yeah, welcome to our world. He's unhappy with the unfair media coverage.
That is our world. We live it.
It's
right.
incredible. But does he have a right to say that?
Of course he does. And what he's saying is absolutely true. I learned a valuable lesson. I'll give you the short version. I'm on the air. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution comes out with a headline, Richard Jewell, the guy that actually was a hero at the Olympic Park bombing in 1996, fits the profile of the lone bomber. I didn't know he was listening to my radio show at the time. I said, well, okay, I'm reading the article, and it said, he fits it because he lives with his mother. Living with your mother to save money does not make you a terrorist or does not create a profile of a terrorist. Turns out he was innocent. He was a hero, kind of like Nicholas Sandmann. Yeah. And it's always the same predictable group of people. Joe Biden referred to Kyle Rittenhouse as a white supremacist. We have examples of Barack Obama. The Cambridge Police acted
Joy
stupidly.
Reid every day?
Joy Reid every hour of every day, yeah pretty much. But they got it wrong in Ferguson. They got it wrong in Baltimore. They got it wrong with UVA. They got it wrong with Duke Lacrosse. Every single time we got it right. But Richard Jewell taught me never to rush to judgment, that I believe in the presumption of innocence, due process, these things that the sad part of this is that they create a perception in the community that there is going to be a certain result. They do this without any evidence ever presented. And then when it doesn't come out that way, people feel like the system is rigged.
You saw on MSNBC, they just showed the prosecution's closing arguments and not the defense. So you only got one side of the story.
Of course.
I mean, that's nuts. Of course, no. It's crazy.
Does that really shock you anymore?
But it does a little bit.
It's sad.
Yeah. They're trying to shape the narrative. They want to only present one side, or, and the judge was steamed because he said that all these legal analysts came out and said, why hasn't he ruled on this mistrial motion yet? And he said, I just got it. It's too early. Once upon a time, the news was just about things that were known, that were facts. But now there's so much opinion, and this is a news and talk show, an opinion show. But when it comes to the newspapers, once upon a time, the front page was just facts.
But what they do is extraordinarily dangerous. People believe what they read. They believe what they see. If you anticipate an outcome that's never coming, for example, in Ferguson, Missouri, I knew early on I had multiple sources all telling me there were numerous eyewitnesses that would corroborate the story of Officer Darren Wilson, that it was Michael Brown that reached into the car. That's when the first shot went off, that Michael Brown ran towards Darren Wilson. And those witnesses, they would never happen, hands up, don't shoot, never happened.
Sean,
Eric Holder wanted to have that flip, but the facts would not back up what he wanted.
Correct. And even their report bore that out.
Sean, he was allowed to go into the crowd with an AR-15?
Yeah, legally.
They dropped the gun charge.
Legally, you can do that.
Yes, the gun charge was based on the length of
it wasn't
the barrel.
A short barrel, right.
And that was the one charge I thought he might be most vulnerable on, but I didn't know that the prosecutor charged him on a law that they didn't even know anything about.
So the jury just sorry to ask another question. So the jury just has to determine if it was self-defense.
Look, in every single case, we had their star witness say that he pointed a loaded gun at Kyle Rittenhouse before he shot. Right. Then you got another case where you have an eyewitness testifying that Rosenbaum had threatened Kyle Rittenhouse. Then you got the third incident where somebody grabbed the barrel of the gun. Now we have the mistrial motion without prejudice from yesterday, Steve, where They literally give an enhanced version to themselves of the video, and they give a low-resolution quality.
The grainy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, they really must want a mistrial here.
Which is bad because I'm afraid they're going to have a retrial and have to go through this again.
Yeah.
Real quick, you know what's happening at the border. I don't know anybody who thinks it's going well. The group of sheriffs, the Western Association of Sheriffs, is calling for Mayorkas to resign, should be fired.
Oh, he's a disgrace.
If you watched any of the clips from what he did in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, he was unprepared. He was nervous. He had no answers. What's going to break here besides the border?
Listen, here's the problem that the Democrats and Joe Biden in particular have, is he can solve the Afghanistan problem, but that would take going back to the Trump policies and sending our military back in and rescuing the Americans he abandoned. If you want to stop the problem at the border, you got to bring back the Stay in Mexico policy, bring back building the wall, and process and release. If you want to solve the problem with the economy and inflation, you got to lower taxes, lower spending, and more importantly, go back to energy independence, lower the price of the lifeblood of our economy, which is energy.
Reinvigorate the pipelines.
Given all of the problems and the tanking Joe Biden numbers, what happens?
By the way, your son is must-watch TV.
I know, isn't he
Peter
great?
Ducey, every single day. I'm like, hold on, the world stops for me. I want to see the exchange.
That was the number one thing I heard last night from everybody in
Yeah,
attendance. So
you should be very proud.
Peter does a good job.
My son was here last
Yes.
night.
Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick was here, and but Peter's killing it. I cannot miss that exchange every day.
He's watching right now. He would be pleased with that. Anyway, given Joe Biden's tanking poll numbers, fast forward a year, a lot of people are thinking, are the Republicans going to take back the House and the Senate to set the table for a Republican president in 2024?
What I would like to see them do is go back, and I've been talking a lot about this with Newt Gingrich. Newt's new book is out, by the way, about post-Biden.
Beyond Biden.
Beyond Biden. And I would like to see another contract with America, because Donald Trump gave the Republican Party a backbone and a spine. You know, I didn't like when 13 Republicans caved on the infrastructure bill. I didn't like after 2 months, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican senator, said that they were not going to help the Democrats raise the debt ceiling. They did raise it. I would like them to make promises, sign their name, that they will go with American first policies. Okay, that's energy independence. That's controlling our borders. That's lower taxes, limited government. You know, Republicans need to be the party of liberty, freedom, capitalism, and our Constitution. Constitutionalists on the bench, free and fair trade. Choice in school, for example, should be a big issue. We saw that in Loudoun County and in the Commonwealth in Virginia in this recent election. I would like to see them be the party of law and order, because if you don't have law and order and people aren't safe and secure, they don't have the ability to pursue happiness.
But also the party of the parent, which we heard in Virginia.
Well, that would go with school choice. Why would you not want a parent involved in your child's education?
Because you're Terry McAuliffe. That's right.
Yeah.
And you're
Didn't work out well for him, right, Brian?
Yeah. Just real quick, Henry Cuellar said something about the future of the Democratic Party. Many people thought for a brief period of time was Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And she's been absolutely awful. And she has shown almost no interest in doing the job, to the point where Democrat Henry Cuellar of Texas says, I don't think she's put the effort in there. We've got to look at other folks that have the expertise. How devastating
Talking
is
about the
that
borders
for
there.
a congressman to call out a vice president for a lack of effort?
28% approval rating. And now we're learning Biden and Kamala Harris hate each other. They're pointing fingers at each other. One has a 35% approval rating, the other a 28% approval rating. And I'm like, okay, there's only one answer. This is the interesting part of this. They would have to return to the Trump policies on the economy, on the border, and on energy to get out of the hole they've dug for themselves.
What do the Democrats do, though, Sean? Because if you look at what happened in Virginia, you would think that they would wise up and they would say, we need to be more moderate. We need to listen to the parents. No CRT, close the borders, that kind of thing. But the party is so divided. What's going to happen?
In all the years, Ainsley, I've watched the Democratic Party. In all these years, it has never been this radicalized, this extreme.
Right.
And those radicals control the party.
Yes.
And I'm going to be very honest. And now, by the way, finally, the polls show it. Most Americans agree with me. that Joe Biden is weak, frail, and he is a cognitive mess, and our enemies around the world know it, and they're taking advantage
So
of it.
what happens then
Democrats'
when you
greatest help would be for them is Manchin and Tulsi Gabbard. They're not radical. They're center
moderate.
left, and you could have a debate with them.
You can.
And they would think about the country first. Others are on their own course. They're not even. They don't care what the American people think. They think somebody from Queens understands the country.
You know, it's interesting. If you watch Obama's economic advisors, like Lawrence Summers and others, they're all saying $3.5 trillion will cost zero.
Right.
They look in the cap, zero, or as Joe would do, he likes to go into that little whisper thing of his, zero. You know, I'm like, okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, it's Thursday. If you're waking up at this time and turning on Fox and Friends, and their policies will not ever work. I wrote a chapter in Live Free or Die, my last book. Socialism, its history of failure. New Green Deal socialism, Build Back Better, is radical socialism. Will never work.
So going back to what you were talking about a moment ago, where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are at odds with each other, and she feels like she's being marginalized. There's a story a couple of days ago in the New York Post that suggested that they're trying to squeeze her out, and the perfect person to take over would be somebody like Pete Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg, the great mayor of South Bend, is going to take over. His answer to the supply chain crisis is, yeah, it's going to continue. We never had a supply chain crisis before. How about you send those cargo ships over to Florida, where we are,
Right.
and Ron DeSantis, who killed it here last night, Ron DeSantis has said he will be able to get those containers off those
He's
ships.
doing it now. It takes 7 days to get them through the canal and into Florida, whereas if they sit in California, it takes 22 days to get them off.
It's worth it.
It is.
We-
Makes
And we
sense.
had a story yesterday on Fox and Friends about how if shippers brought their stuff to Florida, given the governor's policies here, they referred to him as the Santa Claus.
Oh, no, my favorite, Pete Buttigieg. Well, if you really want Christmas gifts and you don't want to disappoint your children and you don't want Santa Claus disappointing your kids, buy your Christmas gifts by Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the advice. That's the
advice.
transportation secretary.
I know.
But now he's got the biggest checkbook in the country. He's going to have all this power, and all he did was fill 3 potholes in South Bend. He was a miserable failure as a candidate, to the point where they had to beg Joe Biden to step up because Bernie Sanders was going to grab the nomination.
Why hasn't Kamala Harris spent time down at the border?
I don't
Makes
know.
no sense.
It
Too
might-
hard.
Why hasn't Joe Biden ever been to the border?
Great question. You know what? There's a great White House correspondent that stayed on that question for 3 days, and we still never got the right answer.
Is it because they want the votes? They want all of them to vote Democratic? What's the reason?
Long-term.
Listen, there's a lot of factors that went into 2020, and a lot of them are based on the pandemic. But I really believe that the party's been radicalized, and they believe in bigger, more government. And people are beginning to catch on that it doesn't work. These are false promises. Look at it this way. How did Obamacare promises work out? We lost our doctors' plans, and we're all paying 250% more. The people that squandered the lockbox for Social Security and Medicare, guess what? They're headed towards insolvency. The people that run cities into the ground, and you don't have law and order, and you have the worst school systems in the country. Now they're saying they want to take over larger portions of your life. I don't think that works.
No, it works. You getting up here. I wouldn't be surprised if you ask Gavin for this slot every Thursday.
We can get you a marching band every time.
You can see it's going to be a money
Listen,
thing.
I love you all, but I got to be honest. I don't know how you guys get up this early. I go to bed.
We don't know how we do it.
Sean, real quickly,
That's a
everyone
yes.
asks me, what are your
We
pens?
have 22 seconds.
What are your pens? Everyone asks me that.
You know, it's interesting. I always talked, when I was going after
Short
the deep
answer,
state,
please.
FBI,
Okay.
CIA, New York intelligence,
Gotcha.
Okay.
law enforcement.
Sean,
Great.
thank you very much for getting.
Guys,
very
watch
much.
every
Thank you
day.
so
God bless
much.
you. Thank you for having
I'll
me.
see you tomorrow, same time.
Thanks for coming on this
See you
early.
tomorrow. Bring the band.
Right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.